Today is another day, and right now what I'm going to do is to pot up my sweet corn and pumpkins. I've sown them on the 21st, on the same day that I sown my tomato seeds as well. And all of the corn and the pumpkins, 3 of them that I have, and it's a big max. I've never grown this one before. This is a big variety as per the name. I've only done smaller varieties of pumpkins so far because of my limited space in the garden. I've done small sugar and what's the other name? It's the Japanese variety. I would have to check on my phone. Uchiki Kuri, which is cute. But yes, I have been quite conscious of the limited space for growing bigger crops in my garden so far. But now that I have the allotment, I have been given the seeds for the Big Max pumpkin. Leanne, if you're watching, thank you so much. And I thought I'm going to give it a go because, you know, having the space, why not? They've germinated very quickly, and I've planted them, the seeds, in my Activia yogurt pots. And very quickly they will be outgrowing. I can see that on one of them. Yeah, the roots are coming out. So I just want to give them enough space and also the nutrients from the compost. So they are going into bigger pots until I can plant them into the allotment. The allotment is still not ready. Because I need to organize a big bulk delivery of topsoil, I think, to basically create some top layer of workable soil that I can actually plant my seedlings and young plants in. Because if you don't know, my allotment is, the soil there is a heavy clay. So when it was wet, it was extremely muddy to the point that you couldn't really walk on it without the risk of losing your boots. And right now, when it's a bit drier, but when I say that it's drier, we still have lots of rain right now, but it's not as intense as it was 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. And the soil have become rock hard. So it's a different side of the spectrum of the of the clay soil. So one of the viewers suggested in one of my allotment vlogs that it would be best to just bring a solid layer of topsoil to build a structure on top of that clay, so that I can plant in it, because compost, as I think it's a he, I think so. And thank you for that advice. I think that's very valid advice, and I didn't even think about it really. I thought that I will be bringing just more and more compost, but he said that compost will eventually just disappear because the plants will consume the compost, which is how that works. It works as a feed for plants, not so much as the structure that you build in and around. Meaning plants like your garden, your veggies. So I think I'm going to have to order a big bag, you know, the bulky bags that you can order with delivery. I'm going to do that, but I also have to have a window of a better weather so that I can spend a little bit more time when it's delivered on just shoveling it and arranging it into the beds on my allotment. And basically, since the week of equinox, which that one itself was really nice and lovely, and it was giving us the illusion of coming into the spring here in England. But shortly after, the weather kind of went back to what it was similar in January, really. So it's around 5 Celsius. The wind is really cold, and that's always the worst because I don't mind low temperatures because, you know, I'm Polish, I can work with low temperature. But the wind is just making everything so miserable when you have to work outdoors and the wind is just giving you a proper beating. Like, I'm too old for that. I'm glad that I have my garden, and the shed in my garden allows me to do things like this in the shelter. And that's very helpful. Okay, the pumpkins are done. And now I'm going to do the same with the corn. That's a nice fruit. Not as developed as the pumpkins, but it's coming along nicely. Like I said, I've never grown corn before, so this is new experience to me. Looking at the other seedlings, this one is one of the smaller ones, so probably that's why the root is so small. I have to do a little bit more research about corn. What does it like and what doesn't it like? And again, those seeds were gifted to me by a friend. Thank you so much. So I thought I'm gonna give it a go. Okay, there's a mushroom, but that's fine. There's a little bit more roots on this one, so I think these are doing fine. I am contemplating whether I should now put them in the greenhouse, where at night we still get lower temperatures. Obviously, greenhouse is safer than the outside, but I'm not sure if the corn, the sweet corn, is how resilient to cold is it, and I'm still considering taking it home to keep it on the safe side. And the same with the pumpkins. I'm not sure if either shed, my shed here, or the greenhouse is safe enough yet, because at night we get temperatures here, and I'm just to remind you, we are in West Sussex, so the very south of England. And at night the temperature still goes down sometimes to 0. Now, at this point, at the very end of March, which is bonkers. So I don't want to risk the plant to suffer from the cold, because that's the most frustrating, I think, for the gardeners when we do sow our veggies from seed and we look after them, and then random frost that is not supposed to be happening at this point comes in, sneaks in, and destroys your seedlings. So we are always very cautious of that. But yeah, I'm going to do a little bit more research on the sweet corn. And most likely we'll keep it at home for a week or so until the weather improves. My tomatoes, I'll show you a little sneak peek. They're still at home. They're germinating really well. Today is 30th of March, and I have sown them on the 21st. Most of my seeds of tomato seeds germinated really well. Some of the varieties that I have sown have germinated 100%. So I have sown 8 varieties, 5 seeds of each. I am limiting myself this year because I have a tendency, like majority of us really, to go a little bit overboard with sowing tomatoes. I don't know what it is about tomatoes, but we do really like sowing a lot. I think there's always the risk of, like, if the seeds will not germinate, then it's better to have more than less. So I understand that, but I never really had a problem with germination with my seeds. So I've decided this year to limit myself to sow only basically 40 seeds in total, which when I realized that it's actually 40, and in my head I was limiting myself, but in fact I have sown more than I've done last year, because I think last year when I had my young seedlings and they took over my greenhouse at the stage where they were still like in pots like this, but it was warm enough, that was April probably, and they took over my greenhouse to just grow still in pots before being planted out or in bigger pots. And I counted over 30 and I thought, oh my God, I have way too many. And now I have sown 40. So I don't know about my logic of limiting myself. I do share my tomato seedlings with my friends, and my brother-in-law occasionally is interested in having a few as well. So I'm happy to share them. But I also get gifted by my friends who do garden as well. So it's kind of always balancing itself out with what I give away and what I get. So I don't know, to be honest, where am I going to put 40-ish tomato plants, but challenge accepted. I love tomatoes. They are my favorite crop to grow. I remember in my first growing year when I was just starting and learning, I have grown so many different things in my little garden. And because of the limited space in my garden, I had a lot of pots everywhere because things ended up in pots, basically. And then next year I thought I am going to just grow what I like to eat the most and just focus on that. So I did that for the past 2 years then, more or less, wink wink. And now that I have the allotment, the craziness is like, come on, bring it. show me what you have. So let's see. We'll see how that goes. I haven't been to the allotment in about 2 weeks though, actually. Since I planted my onions, I think that was, oh no, I did the weeding and mulching of the flower bed as well. And I haven't really done any work in there since. Mainly because the weather went crap. And then it was time to start sowing seeds as well, and I wanted to prepare my garden for the spring as well. I wanted to finish the veg raised bed here with the raspberry roots clear out, so that took my time as well. And I don't really get to spend a lot of time in here like daily. I did mention in one of my previous videos that I have a daughter, we have a daughter with disability, and she doesn't go to school much because she's not coping very well with being exposed to germs basically, and she gets sick on top of her genetic condition, which is not what we want to expose her to. We want to protect her from anything that might be putting her health as it is at more risk. So we are currently also in the process of like changing the education provision for her. So she stays at home a lot. I mean, she's under my care pretty much all the time. Unless my husband is free to spend a little bit more time with her during the day on weekdays, which is very rare, but right now he is. But you know, that's why I'm so grateful that I have my garden, and I'm kind of on the standby if he suddenly needs to do something more attention consuming for work, then I can always go back home and take over with her. And this is how we do it. So it's nice to have this space here. But yeah, the plan for the allotment is to, like I mentioned in one of the videos, in the last, I think, allotment video, I mentioned that I've ordered, like, it's not that you order, but you can flag your interest with the local tree surgeons, that you would be willing to take wood chip that they have spare from any jobs that they do in the area. So I've registered myself with them, but still I have to wait for them to basically let me know that they have some to give, and then I can create a little bit of like structure around the allotment. And I will order a big bulk of soil, of topsoil, to create beds, so that hopefully when my seedlings are ready to be planted out, I will actually have the space to do that. But it'll be fine. We'll do it. We can manage. So these are done. I don't have to do anything or did I want to pot on my beetroots as well? I can use these pots as I still have them kind of out. I can pot up quickly my beetroots that are currently in the greenhouse. I think that would be, oh, my leg. I think that would be helpful. Let's have a look. So my little beets are in the egg box, but I think I can just pop them into the pots, give them a little bit more space for root development. I tend to sow my beetroots in bulk, like multi-sowing. I've learned that it works the best for me. And then when the seedlings are big enough, and depending whether I have the time and feel like it, I can then either separate them and put them on individually, or last year I think I planted multi-sown, like clumps of bigger seedlings straight away into the ground, and they've just given me quite a lot, but smaller beetroots, but they grew just fine. And that was basically circumstantial. A lot of the decisions and the timing as well around the way I garden is very dependent on what is happening with my daughter, and how much time and what mental state I'm at as well, because it's kind of up and down with her. So yeah. Anyway, let's get a little bit more compost and fill those pots up, and then I will just take a spoon and scoop those beets from here with a spoon and basically put them on top of the little pots, and they'll have more growing space for the roots development. I seriously need to get myself a foldable chair in here, because right now I am sitting on a foldable ladder, which works fine as well, but it's a bit, it takes a lot of space, and I need to get rid of some of the things in my shed, because right now I have my daughter's foldable wheelchair as well, from the lack of space in the garage. Any of you who either have a child with disability or live with, not necessarily a child, but anyone else with physical disability, you will know how much equipment you gather at home for that. And we basically ran out of space for this one, so it sits here for now, but I don't like it because it takes my space. This is my space here, so I need to figure out what to do with it. Today the plan was, well, since the previous attempt of filming on the day when we went through all spectrum, like very broad spectrum of what I would say typical English weather during one day. It started with blue skies and sunny, tempting weather. And then we went through rain, hail, wind, and then again sun, and then again rain and fog, everything at once. Honestly, I really need sunshine. I am starting to feel like in my mood that the lack of sunshine and warmth after the winter is now getting into me. Last year, though, I remember we had a lovely, lovely spring and beautiful summer all the year through. And naively, I thought that it will repeat itself this year, but clearly it hasn't. It's not going to. A spoon. I need a spoon. Where is my spoon? There we go. Will this do? Love reusing plastic boxes for things like that. I have this tray. I don't know if they'll fit, hopefully. That'd be lovely. What is that? Go away. An ice cream van came to the street, so I apologize if you can hear the noise. I think I might just sow the small sugar pumpkin as well. Courgette is still too early. Okay, not you then. And I have this kind of hybrid zucchini patisson. It's a mix of a type of a cucumber mixed with zucchini, mixed with squash or pumpkin. It's called Sunburst. I've grown it once, I think, not last season, but the previous one. And it was interesting. This can be sown now. So I think I'm going to do those two. Yeah, I'll do those two. I'll use those little pots. How many should I do? I might do 3 of each. I seriously need to get those dahlia pots out of here because it's so uncomfortable. I wanted to do it basically today and in my previous gardening vlog and the previous one, but I think I'm procrastinating it because I am suspecting that the dahlia tubers will be rotten. And that would be a shame, basically. Okay, first one is the patisson. Okay, I have 5 seeds left. Are they in date still? This year, okay. Should I just sow those two as well? Okay, that's this one done. I'll do 5 of this. How many seeds do I have of the small sugar pumpkin? And when is it due? Oh, this one is actually one year past its expire date. And I have 6 seeds. So I think I'm going to have to sow all of them. It's fine. I can always either share with someone, maybe someone from the allotment would like to have some. I know there's few families with kids at the allotment, so I might just offer the pumpkin seedlings to them if they would like to, or anyone really, because the small sugar is actually, this is a very nice variety. I can highly recommend it. I've grown it several times, well, since I bought the seeds, and it gives a nice size, not too big, but also like for one meal type of a size pumpkin. If you do pumpkin soup, or if you do anything with pumpkin, really, it's perfect size for one meal, basically. So you don't have to flex too much with like getting into that pumpkin to get the flesh out of it. Like some of the bigger ones are a bit, you know, you kind of have to hassle with them. Labels, labels. Which one was which one? These were pumpkins, right? Okay. These will go in here. These will go home with me for germination in nice warm conditions. As you can see, I still have the Hungarian yellow pepper in here, and also an eggplant, which both I have sown on the 21st of March. They haven't germinated just yet, so they'll be sitting in there. If they germinate, good. If not, I'm not too worried, because I'm not really a fan of chili peppers. I don't do spicy. But again, that was something that was gifted to me, and I thought I'm going to try, and you know, we'll see what happens. So I'm giving it a go. And the same really goes for the eggplant. I haven't grown it before. I don't really have much liking to it, but I said I'm gonna try it, try to grow it and see what happens. This is done and this is done. So I think, because at this point I've run out of excuses to not have a go at the dahlia pots, I might just try and tackle that, because I've done all of the smaller jobs. So I might just at least try with one or two and see what's inside of those pots. Yeah. So this one is actually one of the first ones that I ever bought. It's from Sarah Raven, under the name Sarah Raven. So it's a brand and the name of this dahlia at the same time. It's actually quite pretty. Okay, the good sign is that it's really dry, but that doesn't mean anything when it comes to the tubers. be all now. Um, oh God. This one is soft. This one is a bit harder. It's alive. You will not believe this. It's alive. There is an eye here. Can you imagine? Unbelievable. I don't actually believe this. What about this? I don't see anything being alive on this one. I wonder if I should just put this up anyway. I don't believe that this one is alive. I'm too excited now. I need to get my secateur and just cut off because I don't want to pull. This one is still alive as well, I think, because I can see the flesh. Can you see the light green? Is this alive? Does it mean it's alive? I don't want to damage it more, just in case if it is alive. Okay. I will pot these up. This one is again from Sarah Raven. It's called Sweet Natalie. And this one is the one that I would be upset the most if it's dead, because it's sentimental. It has sentimental value to me because I bought it suggested by the name Sweet Natalie. My daughter's name is Natalia. So I really want this one to be alive. this one is semi-firm. Okay, this came off, but there is something going on in here. I think this is alive. I wonder how would they wake up after the season without having any sunlight and water and release shoots. Again, this is a bit that came off, and in here there is a pinkish eye, and I think there is another one, or was it, did I just break it? But I think this one is coming up, which is amazing, obviously. Oh, I'm so glad. This one that has broken off, I can see that there's like fresh meat, so there must be more. This came off, but I'm not throwing that away. There's a big chance that something in here is alive. So I'll keep that and pop this up, and there's this big chunk. There's so many bugs sitting in between the tubers. See, they've been feeding on them. But this looks quite, some of them at least, quite solid. So I think I am going to put this one up as well. Yeah, it's alive because I've just ripped a little bit of a root from that. From that tuber, and there is yellowy, greeny kind of flesh visible. So I consider this one being alive as well. This one is labeled as red one, but I know now that the variety is called Chat Noir. I don't know how to pronounce that really. I had it marked as a red one because that was one of the tubers that my husband brought me from Marks and Spencer's, I think, and I lost the label of it for some time. But I searched online what could that be, and that's how I know the name of it. It's a beautiful dark red, big flower heads dahlia. Oh no, I just broke a new shoot. Shit. But at least I know that it's alive. there's a lot of rot on the top. So this one is the most intact, I would say, but also at the same time, there is the most action going on, which I don't know what it is, because there's a lot of that. And I don't know if this is a disease or because it doesn't quite look like new shoots, or is it? And there is a rotten bit right at the top as well. And I don't know if I should remove it and how. I'm not sure. But this one feels very firm. All of the tubers here, they seem very healthy. So what is that? Is this all new growth? This bit? It looks very weird. I've never seen something like that on a dahlia, but then I probably am not an expert. I kind of want to cut out this rotten bit. This. Okay, the next one here is burlesca. As far as I remember, that was also something that my husband brought from M&S. It's a nice variety though. I like all of them though, really. Oh, I can see a new shoot. There is several actually. So I have to be very gentle with this one, because this one is already actively growing. So this one is growing in several places. It has new shoots. There is one here. There is one here. And as well. This one is very bulky, and majority of it feels quite firm, so I don't want to mess too much with it. Because I don't want to break it. I am leaving it as it is. This one is cafe au lait, but I think, as far as I remember, I got the royal version, which is the slightly pinkish at the rim of the petals. This has separated and I can see an eye on this one, right in the middle, which is nice. Okay, I can see another eye on this one. So this is the bit that separated. The shoot is coming from this. There is an eye right in there. I don't know if the camera is focusing because the screen of this camera is so tiny that I can barely see. And then the main chunk, there is definitely an eye here on this one, at least from what I can see. And I think there is another one there as well. So I'll put this up and this one separately, and hopefully I'll get 2 separate plants. The last one is Wizard of Oz. So, Wizard of Oz seems to be quite firm and intact. There's no rot at all. But I don't see any new shoots. So this is the Wizard of Oz. It does look good and healthy. I don't see any new shoots just yet, but I think it's in a good condition. So that's the last dahlia that I have, that I've had in the pot. So let's pot them up now. I just went and had a look in my flower border, and I've noticed that some of the dahlias that I've left over winter in there are shooting up more than they have last time that we had a look together. And that made me think, because this winter I have taken out 5 or 6 verbena plants from that border, because it was not the right place for verbena, because it's too close to the wall of the garage, and the verbena is spreading like this, and it was pushing all of the other plants to the side, especially when we do have quite a lot of strong winds in here, and everything was kind of pushed because of the verbena. But that leaves that border with quite a lot of space. And I think instead of potting those dahlias up in pots, I think I'm just going to put them directly in that border and let them develop in there, especially that I have, well, other flowers in there, but also a couple of roses, technically 3 roses, because the one that is growing on the arch on the side, but it's right at the side, but the other 2 are kind of in the middle. So before they have the time to develop, and later on it will be more tricky to kind of plant around them, so I might just plant those tubers that I've taken out now, at least those that, yeah, I'm going to do that. Let's not overthink it. I'm just going to do that. This is the flower border that I was talking about. First of all, let me point out this clematis. This is Montana. Oh, this is going to be so lovely when it's all in bloom. Anyway, there is one dahlia popping up in here, and this is, as far as I remember, the Norwegian Glory or something like that in the name. Also, if you remember, in the previous gardening vlog, I was wondering if this, what's your name? Daskia, if it's alive. It's alive, no worries. It's very much alive. But I have some space. Well, there is another dahlia here which I don't have the label for. I don't know why. So I don't know what that is at this point. In this spot, these are gladioli, so I'm going to leave that space. I just need to mulch it a little bit better. There is dahlia called Josie. It's coming to life. I have a gap in there at the back, so I can put one of the dahlias in there, because that was the place where verbena was. One more verbena was actually in here. I have to think about it. Moving along, we have brown sugar in here. Those 2 canes are the old stems. There's no new shoots just yet. These little seedlings, there might be the verbena seeds that I have probably landed in here, which we don't want to grow in here. But yes, we have the brown sugar in here. This is not Dahlia, this is Rudbeckia. Behind this hellebore, I have Dahlia La Belle Epoque, and that's the old last year's stem. There is no new shoots just yet, but then I have quite a little bit of space in here. So I can put a few dahlias in here behind this rose. This is the port sunlight. And then here in the corner, I can put another one as well. I am going to put burlesque in here, in this edge of the border. Oopsie. Okay, I'm going to have to do new labels. This rose, port sunlight, is in the range of a salmon orange color range. So I think as a contrast, and there's alliums all over this border. So as a contrast, maybe behind it, I can put the red one, Chat Noir or Chat Noir. Don't know how to pronounce that properly. I think that and that one, the red one, is quite tall as well. So it might be a nice contrast with the rose. That's two in. I am going to put one of the bits from the Sarah Raven variety behind this rose. This rose is Queen of Sweden, and it's a light powder pink kind of flower. Sarah Raven is kind of dark burgundy-ish. So it might be a good contrast as well to this one. I think I'm going to put one in front of this Dahlia as well, just in here, because previously I had one of the two rose campions in this area, and then I took both of them. I've divided them. Dahlia went back in here, but the rose campion is going to the allotment. Is already there. It just needs to be planted into the ground. But yes, I think this would be a good spot for Dahlia as well. I've chosen one of the bits of the sweet Natalie to go in here. I need to make a label for this one. There we go. I've decided that I'm going to put no, not Café au Lait, Wizard of Oz in here, next to the salmony pink rose port sunlight. Behind it is the dark red one, Chat Noir. And in here there is the La Belle Epoque, which is very light pink, kind of blush pink, but big heads, Dahlia. So I think Wizard of Oz, being a pompon variety, can fit really nicely in here. So what I have left here is a little bit of the Sarah Raven by Sarah Raven tubers, two kind of separate pieces of the Sweet Natalie, and I'm going to put them on in the pots. I have Cafe au Lait, which is the, as far as I remember, the Royale variety with the added reddish, pinkish reddish shading on the petals, and that's it. That's it. So I have those three varieties. I am going to put them up in the pots and let them release new shoots like this, and I will decide where to put them, if I want to keep them in the pots maybe for this season, or if I'll find a place for them in the garden, directly in the ground. I kind of do like the idea of not needing to be bothered with all the kerfuffle with cleaning dahlia tubers and storing them over the winter. And if those that I've left for the last winter in the flower border behind me are alive, which there are signs that at least half of them are alive, I do like this idea of leaving dahlias in that border and just keeping them there. So we'll see. I have to think about what to do with those. I might actually take the extras to the allotment as well, because both of the Sarah Raven varieties, so the Sarah Raven and Sweet Natalie, I have doubled, and I'll think about this one, the Cafe au Lait, but also I have how many new varieties that I have just potted on yesterday, the day before yesterday, I think. 8 new varieties of dahlias. So I will have stuff to be keeping in pots if I want to in the garden this season. I probably will, because I like to have dahlias on the decking where we spend a lot of time at the table in the summer. So that's always nice to have in there. So I'll just tidy up now. I have to get rid of this old compost. I will use that as a mulch in this border here. And then I will cover this border with the wood chip that I also have here from my wood chip delivery from a year ago, basically. Not to confuse that with the delivery that I'm expecting for the allotment. That's a different story, different delivery that I'm expecting. Yeah, but that's going to be it. I'm quite happy with the outcome of today, with the dahlias as well, seeing that at least majority of them is still alive. So that's really good. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have dahlias in your garden and what are your favorites, and if you are purchasing any new tubers maybe this season, just like I did. Do let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.